Hello everyone, thank you very much to be back. Today we will talk about trust and trust management, and I'm very happy that I have an expert here with us, Tom, who has researched trust. Tom, you have a career in management consulting, you are a member of the advisory boards of large organizations, you are a professor in design, and you have researched trust. Can you tell us why you have this interest in trust management?
Well, this is based on my personal experience that in changing organizations, typically it is difficult to get the buy-in of the people concerned. And I found that this was usually because of a lack of trust.
Okay, so trust is key to get buy-in. Now, can you tell us what are the dimensions of trust?
Dimensions are essentially threefold. One is, of course, the trust profile of the executives. Their ability to give trust to other people and to be trustworthy in their eyes. The second is the organizational climate of trust in general. And thirdly, this is very strongly based on the so-called psychological contract between the institution, the organization, the company, and the people.
Okay, so you say there are three dimensions, the leadership dimension, the climate, as you say, and then you talk about a contract.
Yes.
Can you help us understand better what this contract is all about?
Well, in organization, in life in general, we know the legal contracts signed by both parties on agreement on terms and conditions. But over and above what's written down in the organigram, in the job description and so on, in an organization, typically there is a psychological agreement between the leadership and the people in the company on what is the give and take on both sides.
Okay, good. So if we talk about a contract, then of course immediately the question comes up, what if there is an organizational change?
Yes.
Do parties then renegotiate the contract?
Well, in legal terms, this is happening when parties change the contract. But the psychological contract, not being visible, usually is forgotten. And actually what has to happen to maintain the trust culture in the organization is to also negotiate, of course not literally, but in behavior, in talking to each other, to get the agreement on both sides, and typically this also improves the result.
So basically we understand that in the contract there are the so-called unwritten rules of the game of the company. Right. And if there is a change, then people need to re-agree on those rules.
Right.
Is it a fair
Yes,
summary?
Because it would be awful if one side decides to change the behavior and the other side doesn't understand why.
Right. Well, you talk about different sides. So let's look at the leadership side. And what is the challenge of leadership in order to manage trust?
Well, the main basis is, of course, self-confidence of the leader, that he believes in trust, that he maybe even has the experience what trust leads to in terms of business results. And then the second requirement is to be open and frank and communicate and be accessible also to the inputs of the people, and so to develop a common understanding, a sense of community.
And as employees, what would you recommend that we should do to enhance the trust in our organizations?
Well, the employee himself, of course, has to accept that being trusted also means being given authority, responsibility, and the need of personal initiative, and to be fearless in terms of making possibly mistakes. And that is a major element of a climate of trust, that people know their initiative will be rewarded and mistakes will not be punished.
Great. Well, I hope that this has been of interest for you. I hope that we now have a better understanding together on what trust really is all about. It is fascinating, the different facets that suddenly unfold, and that maybe we should be even more mindful about. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope to see you soon.